So we are officially recording right now. Thanks for coming to class. As I said before, I had a couple of requests for people to join with live streaming in the class. So if you see something pop up there, that's what it is. I don't normally offer live streaming only because I didn't think this room was capable of it, but I'm being told it is. So that's what I'm working with today. I think I figured it out. We're all good to go. As you know, I always record the class session. And then I posted on Moodle, and I'm going to start posting within the module that I'm lecturing on. So I think our first one, if let me just double check. I think I put it in week 1 already. Yep, I did. So week 1, the lecture video is already there. I don't know if you looked at it or not, but just so you know, I'm always going to put it in the resources of the module that I'm lecturing on that particular week. Okay, so you have a couple of options if you can't come to class or don't want to come to class. Hopefully you want to, but I understand sometimes things happen, you can't. The first option is you will be able to join our class live streaming from wherever you are, okay? And the second would be to watch the recording as soon as I post it or whenever you want to. It'll be in the module, the recording of my lecture. Now keep in mind, I do not record the session from start to finish. I only record when I am lecturing on content or I'm going over things with you. So the videos may be a little shorter than, you know, the live streaming when we are actually together. Okay. So I don't think I need to go over anything with week 1. Let me click in week 1 just to make sure. But at this point, I've already talked about introductions forum. I talked about email etiquette, assignment. Those were the 2. They both have a due date of September 20th, I believe. So even if you were not here last week, even if you just added the class maybe yesterday or something, you'll still be okay. You just go in and get those done before the 20th and you'll still have on-time credit. I would recommend, though, if you are late to join the class, in other words, you just joined in the last few days, you know, after our first session, then be sure to go through all the Start Here information and the resource information to familiarize yourself, in particular with the syllabus. And then, of course, don't forget, for you to be able to see week 1 on our Moodle page, you have to complete the item, that orientation quiz. You have to complete that with 100% on the Start Here section, or week 1 won't appear to you. Just show of hands, is anyone not able to see week 1 yet? Okay, so in order to see week 1, that's the trigger. You got to get the 100%. And keep in mind, I gave you unlimited untimed attempts, which means you can take as long as you want and you can do it as many times as you want to get to that 100%. I believe I have opened week 2 to you, and I do that manually. There's no requirement after that orientation. I'll do that manually. I open new weeks every Saturday. So on Saturdays, I open the next week, okay? The week 2, you'll see the overview. That's me talking to you about some of the assignments. I'm going to go through some things today and lecture on them and kind of talk about information. The task list, this is what you need to do this week, this module, which is you need to read those pages in your textbook. These pages are like survey assessment type things. You may write in your book. Your book is yours. You're not going to turn it into me. But you write them in and you take a score, and then you figure out how high your anxiety is. And then I want you, one of our assignments is going to be to write about it. So how many of you, this week we're going to focus on test anxiety. How many of you suffer, or you feel you suffer from test anxiety? You have apprehension with tests, okay. How many of you feel it's kind of impeding your test performance? Like you get so anxious, so worried, stressed, whatever, that it's hard for you to even think or focus during a test? Anybody? Okay, good. This unit that we're going to start with is going to be based on not just anxiety things, but also test taking strategies. So my question to the class is, if you want to be successful, how do you know, I guess, how do you know you are successful on a test? And you can just give me a shout out. How do you know you were successful on a test? Yeah, go for it. Shout out.
If you feel successful.
If you feel good about it, sure. That could be one measurement. Absolutely. What makes you feel good about a test though?
Actually studying.
Okay, studying makes you feel good. Okay, but that's, how do I know? I could study and still not be successful on the test. Does that make sense? So what I'm asking is, how do you know you were successful on the test?
You feel confident about it.
Okay, and that goes along with what he said. Yeah, the confidence, you feel good. What makes you, what is the confidence and the feel good stemming from?
A good score.
There you go. It's with your score. What's a good score?
Anything that is not failing.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that's, you're nailing it right on the head. Success, how do you know you're successful on a test? You scored the way you wanted to score. That defines success. You feel good because you scored the way you want to score. And that's one of the things I really want to emphasize with you is success is not linked to a particular grade. It is scoring whatever you want to score. I remember I was absolutely delighted and elated, and I felt so good when I passed the CDL test I took. I took a CDL test, which is commercial driver's license. And I am telling you, it was one of the hardest tests I ever took. And I take, you know, quite honestly, I take tests for a living. When you're in the academic arena, that's not, but that was out of my thing. And I just wanted to come out alive. That was my goal, come out alive. I passed it by 1 point. So it wasn't like I aced that baby by any means, but I felt good. I was successful. I achieved what I wanted to achieve. So keep that in mind. Success is measured if you are scoring the way you want to score, if you are achieving what you want to achieve within a test, okay? And some of that is just reducing some of your anxiety. And in other words, don't pressure yourself to get an A or a B or whatever. Just realize, you know what? I'm going to be happy to get out alive. I want to be successful. Now, if you want the A, then of course, that's your goal or something you want to achieve. But the reading in those sections are going to be primarily information on the area, and I want you to read that and get familiar with that. So let me see here really quickly. I don't know if I saved. Nope. I think I'm gonna wait on this. So let's go through what I want you to do in the activities and kind of give you some information. So as you know, in the module, we have some resources. So in this particular class, one of the goals and outcomes is that you know how to set up a document with MLA 8 document design. So all of your writing, when you submit it to me, I'm gonna want in MLA 8 document design. Now, many students, they don't know what that is. No problem. I want to show you 2 resources that we can talk about with this. So set up your paper. And this is, it's not me, it's somebody else. It's just a random YouTube video, but I had a great information on how to set up your computer for MLA 8 document design. So that's the goal here is if you get your settings all done in Word, it'll be so much easier for you later on. It's kind of like pre-controls. Like, you know how when you drive a car, you have controls in the car and you can preset everything? This is the same way. We want to preset our particular settings for Microsoft Office Word. Quick poll, how many of you have got Microsoft Office Word or Microsoft Office 365, that free version, on your computer? Okay, so only one does not. So that will be your #1 job. I mean, I'm making assignments. You need to get that. As I talked about last time, don't pay for it. If your computer didn't come with it, get the free version and download it. And if you have trouble, go to the help desk and have them help you. So here's one resource on setting. Okay. So And the other one is what the criteria is for MLA format. So this goes to Owl at Purdue, and maybe you're not a video person. Now the video is very focused on your computer settings, right? But maybe you're just like, okay, I just want to know how the document design works. What is it? This tells you the criteria for what it is in MLA 8. And so for the most part, I think you're going to know a lot of this, but in case you don't, it gives it to you bullet by bullet, all of the items that are MLA 8. So when I say MLA 8 document design, this is the way the page needs to be set up. And so you got to set it up with an 8.5 by 11 inch paper. That's what we're always working with. That's the size. On your computer, it's always the portrait view. You know how you can change layout on it? It's portrait, 8.5 by 11. And that's usually one of the choices. And in fact, I think it's the default setting. I think it's the default choice on your computer. Your stuff needs to be double spaced. So everything is double spaced. And you need to use a legible font. In MLA 8, we always say Times New Roman style font size 12. Those are all the bases. And so that's what that's talking about there. And then you only leave one space after periods or other punctuation marks. You don't double space. Now, again, you guys are too young to remember that. See, I learned how to type on a typewriter, like a real typewriter where you had to punch the keys kind of a thing, right? And that's old school rules. You always double spaced between sentences. And so on the computer, it's only a single space. But my guess, y'all look young enough that that's not even an issue for you. Set the margins. It's always 1 inch margins on all sides, okay? And then you always indent the first line of every paragraph. So every time you have a new paragraph, that first line is indented. It goes a 1/2 inch. Again, another trick to that is do your settings and do tab. Set your tab to do that at the 1/2 inch. And then all you got to do is hit your tab button every single time. Create a header that has the number pages, and you have to have your last name in that header. So the header is literally in the header. So when I say header, that's not on the main page. You literally have to go into your computer settings. In fact, let me quick show you. Let me see if I can open a blank document here. Well, all right. Of course, I don't have the icon. Oh, here we go. So when you are doing MLA setup, you just go to a blank document, and here's my document, and you can look up here. It says insert, and then it gives this toolbar. Literally, you're going to insert your header. That's how you get your header into your paper. It is separate from the paper. And then it gives you your options here of what to do. I always just choose the first one. And if you take a look, it's showing me header. And what I'm going to do, see, I'm in my header. It says type here, but I don't want it on the left-hand side. I want it on the right-hand side. So then I would type in my last name, space, and then I'm going to have to go in and do page number separate. So if it's only one page, great, Shirey, space 1. But usually when you're numbering pages in MLA, it's multiple pages. And in fact, if you only have a 1-page document, you don't have to have the number. But let me show you insert again. So insert, and then it's going to say somewhere page number. And I'm not seeing it right now. Text box.
Just went over it.
Did I?
Yeah, right there.
Oh, there it is. So add page numbers. So again, top, bottom, page margins, and it shows you, like I can pick where I'm going to want it. I'm going to want it there. Okay. So when I come back up to my header now, it's got 1, and I'm going to do Shirey in front of it. So do your page number first, insert page number first. And then right in front of that, you can type your name. Make sure you leave a space between your last name and the page number, okay? So that's header. And then when I want to get out of the header, I just double click into the regular paper. Now you can't see my header there, but it's still there, okay? And it says, of course, indent every paragraph. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I've got my 1/2 inch. I'm just gonna randomly blah, 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 blah. So when I go to save this, or I go to print this, now you won't have to print for me, but when you go to print, it's a good way to look at it. So you can see, can you see this is what it would print out at? You can see there's my header and there's where I've started typing. So even though you may not be able to see the header on your screen, you should still be okay. You know, it'll have it there when you upload, okay? So we're gonna say don't save. Let's go back to our Purdue OWL. So that's just a quick demonstration on that. So here it is, create a header that numbers all pages consecutively in the upper right-hand corner, 1/2 inch. That's what I just showed you. It says note, your instructor may ask you omit the number on your first page. Always follow your instructor's guidelines. No, I want you to practice this, so don't omit it. I want it included. I want you practicing using that header and the page number, okay? And then it tells you use italics through the essay when you use titles. This is basic grammar of longer works. And then we will not be having any endnotes or works cited in this course that you will have to be using that for you. We're just practicing base design. So do not make a title page for your paper unless specifically requested. Again, no title pages for mine, no title page. You're just starting with the first page of what you're writing, okay? In the upper left-hand corner of that first page, list your name, instructor's name, course, and date. Again, we are double spacing. Double space again, center the title. Okay, so again, let me go back in. I just want to demonstrate that for you. So I'm not going to show you header again. But, okay, here are the first 4 lines of your paper. So it says your name, so I don't know, Joe Smith. And then it's going to be my name, and it is helpful if you use a title. So Professor Shirey. Whoops, sorry, it would help if I spelled it right. Then the next line is the name of the course, freshman English, oh no, this is freshman English. Oh no, that's not the title of this course. The title of our course is, anybody know? You want to give me a shout out?
Something critical reading and writing.
Yes, critical reading and writing. Ding, 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 go you. And then the final one is the date. And the date has to be funky format. It's MLA format. It's not what you're used to writing. It's always day, month, year, no comma, no stashes. So today's date is the 15th of I am just having typing issues. September, 15th September, and then the year 2020. It has to be like this. So you notice I got a space between each one, no commas, no dashes, and it's in day, month, year format, okay? Then I return again, and now I have to center my title. So I'm going to estimate where my center is right now, and we're just going to say test taking response. And then I'm going to, and then I'm going to start my writing. And then remember, you got to indent that 1/2 inch. I've already got my tab set. And then blah, 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 whatever you start typing, okay? Now, I want to show you this now. Again, there are tools in Microsoft Word that will help you. The big thing is we want to make sure that we have things set up correctly. So in Home, you want to make sure that your spacing is at 2.0, double spacing. And you want to do this before you start typing. So before you even begin, you would set these up. And then what I'm going to do here is just to make sure everything is double spacing, I'm going to go back and make sure that it's all double spacing. You see how it adjusted. And then also what I want to do is make sure that I have my page set up correctly. So layout, Again, what is the size of my paper? I'm going to use 8.5 by 11. Remember, that's MLA. No problem. It's in portrait view, which is what I want. Okay. I need to set my margins. I got to find my margins. I don't remember where they are. I have to think about that. It's been so long. Margins are here somewhere. Let's center my title. So I'm going to highlight my title, and then I want to center that. And so that's this button right here. These lines, this means left align. This one means center that, and this means right align. So we're going to center. So that's actually the center of my page. So it'll do it for me automatically. And so then when if I finish typing, whatever, you know, it'll go end to end. I'm going to keep going here. Let me see if I can find my margins on here. I know it's a button here. I just can't remember which one it is. 1-inch margins. Oh, here's the other thing you want to look in your setting. So remember, we need Times New Roman and we need size 12. Now, again, you want to do all this before you start typing. I've kind of done it a little bit backwards and I apologize. So I'm going to just quick highlight all of this to make sure. Home, Times New Roman, size 12. Okay, so now I know I'm meeting it all. And if you set that right at the beginning, you don't have to do this. It'll do it automatically for you. Format, painter, no. Paste, cut, copy, no. Review, maybe. I'm looking for my margin set up and I can't remember where it is. File, maybe? No. I know there is a way. Oh, it's probably in print options. Cover page, table. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Maybe it's in print option. Let's try. I don't know. Yeah, right here. So when you go, it's in print options. So you got to go to print. Even though you're not going to print this, when you go to print, you just set your, that's where you do your 1-inch margins and, you know, your setup and that kind of thing. You can do page setup here. All of them are together. I believe, and I'll find out, but I believe it's automatic on your sheet. When you go to upload, it'll do 1-inch margins all the way around unless you, I think it's under page layout, actually. Yep, I lied. Here we go. Don't go to print. Sorry, ignore what I just said. We're doing size, orientation, and then there's your margins. So margins is default at 1 inch. You should be good with that. Okay. All right. So again, when I look at this, I always go to print to look, even though I don't print. You can see the first 4 lines. Now this one's not showing the header because remember I did that before. I forgot to put it on this one. But you would have your header over here, then all this, and then you would do your writing. Okay. So we're not going to save that. So that's just kind of a down and dirty on the MLA. Okay. And I would get familiar with that, have everything set up. So the first assignment that I have you doing for this week is called Test Taking Response. So I tell you, in our required textbook, you need to complete the self-assessment and complete the coping with test anxiety assessment. Those are both in the textbook. You just fill out the numbers, check the right checks, calculate your score. And then what you're going to do is follow the instructions on the attached file to complete a letter to me. So here's the file. When you open it, it's going to give you the instructions. I also have included a video of me talking through those instructions for you. Okay. So when you open this up, this is what I want you to be typing to me. So I say you're going to write a letter that includes the following areas. So that means I want these things addressed in your letter to me. And then I also remind you what are the requirements of this document, basically with MLA. So you got to do it in Word, Times New Roman. This is all the stuff that I've already kind of gone through. Does that make sense so far? Okay, again, I have a video talking through it, so I don't want to, spend a lot of time right now. I just wanted to kind of go over those things with you initially. The second item I want you working on this week, after you've done that, so you've done the reading, you've done the survey, you have completed your response, typey type, you've uploaded to Moodle, good job. Then I want you to go in and take this quiz. And it's a test taking strategies quiz. It's going to ask you questions about strategies to use to help you when you take tests. Ironically, it's a test about taking tests. It's kind of crazy, but so whenever you do a quiz on Moodle, I want you to pay attention to the information very heavily. It gives you lots of stuff right on the front page. So I'm telling you, it's going to be on these pages, 636, 647. I also tell you, there is a 1 hour time limit on this quiz. So don't click until you're ready. The clock starts when you click on the gray box. Your box will say start attempt now. Mine is the teacher box, so it says a little different. So your time starts when you click the box. So a couple of tips. Don't click on the box until you're ready. And make sure you're connected with really good internet. So whether it's hardwired or you just have a really strong signal and you know you won't get kicked off. Because here's the thing. Once you click the box, the clock starts. The clock doesn't stop no matter what. So if you get kicked off the internet, you lose signal, any of that kind of stuff, the clock is still running. So hop back on there as quick as you can. Make sense? You have 1 hour. I opened this quiz on the 10th, so it's been open and available to you. I'm going to close it on Sunday, 1 minute to midnight. It'll close and you will no longer have access to it. So you have until that point to get it done. So you only get one attempt. This is the other thing I want you to be aware of. There are no makeups, there are no redos. So do your best the first time. So don't click in until you are ready. If you miss the clock, which means you forget to do it and you don't get it done Sunday before midnight, it'll close no matter what. I do allow you to go back in and do it late, but you have to send me an email telling me why you were not able to get it done when it was, and you get late credit. You don't get full credit. So kind of avoid that and get it done when you can, okay? Before the 20th. The quiz, you simply click into the box and the quiz is going to appear. This quiz only has 10 questions. So you have a full hour for 10 questions, all related to those pages. So I have deliberately given you more time than I think you need. And the reason I did that is I just want to reduce that test anxiety pressure that a lot of people feel. So if you have 10 questions and you have an hour on the clock to do it, that gives you 6 minutes per question. That's a really long time. But when you're doing the quiz, you are welcome to bounce around, kick, you can start with 10, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you complete all of them, okay? When you're done, finish attempt. You'll see your grade immediately. It'll post right away into the grade book. And then it should also tell you the right and wrong answers. Because you don't get a redo and you don't get a makeup. So I just give you the answers right away. Make sense? Questions on that at all? Questions on anything else within section 2 or week 2 of our module? Okay, I am going to stop our meeting or stop our recording, I guess, and